you're stuck at home in quarantine, 5 o'clock, why not have a drink with me?
Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Hope you're all doing well, having a good week. Making it towards the end of the week. I think today is probably the pick of the weekday weather-wise for us. It's supposed to get warmer tomorrow, maybe break 70s, but it's going to be a little bit rainy. Today it's a little bit cooler than that, but quite nice outside, nice and sunny. Dogs have been basking in the sun all day long and just having a great time. I had a pretty good day today. Thursdays is typically my busy day. I have some stuff due. Have a couple meetings each week that happen on Thursday. This week was especially busy because I had one of my Tuesday meetings moved to today, and so that ate up like another hour of time. And there you go. So I've had a busy day. Still have a little bit more work to do, as is typical. I didn't quite properly budget my time, so I'm almost done but not quite done, but excited to finish that up, and I think I'll be even more productive with a little break. And we'll go back and do a little bit of work, but my work will be made all the better by having a nice cocktail in hand beside me. One of the interesting things that happened today that I see Colleen is in the chat. I don't think she'll be too happy about this, but I was on a call with some folks that I work with in Chicago, and this woman who works at a school there said that she is kind of assuming that they might even be doing remote instruction when they come back in the fall. So there's that possibility of schools not getting restarted even in the fall. So we'll see about that. I know colleges have a lot of decisions to make, and I don't know how we all feel about that. There's Colleen's reaction there. No, exactly. I mean, I think that everybody believes that if you want to send people back to work, you need to be able to send kids back to school. And so I am hopeful that there will be mostly in-person instruction in schools in the fall, although I do think it might be a very regionalized or localized type of situation where individual towns or cities or counties or however they want to divvy it up based on the current situation on the ground there will make decisions about whether to send all kids at once or do 50-50 or how to set it up like that. Jersey Beach is open next week. That's good. I think what we might be dealing with on the beaches this year is a new type of tan line that shows the mask. So you wear a face mask and then you get a nice tan line right like here. That's going to be the new style this summer. So be on the lookout for that. What else is going on here? I think I might have mentioned yesterday I made a batch of brownies. They came out pretty good. It was the new recipe that I hadn't made before. We have two sort of go-to gluten-free cookbooks, both from America's Test Kitchen, called How Can It Be Gluten-Free, Volumes 1 and Volume 2. And each of them has a different brownie recipe. So I tried the brownie recipe for number 2 today. They were called Lunchbox brownies, and they looked like they're going to be a little fudgier. And they were still a little bit cakier than I like them. I think they were delicious. They had good chocolatey flavor. All of the chocolate came from Dutch processed cocoa powder that you just bloom in some oil and melted butter. So it has real good rich chocolatey flavor, but I tend to like my brownies a little bit more on the fudgy side than the cakey side. Right? If on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is super cakey and 10 is super fudgy, I'm probably like an 8. So not quite the Little Debbie brownie that's basically just a block of fudge that you get in the little plastic packages. Not quite that, but I like them nice and dense brownies, super chocolatey. So that's my take on brownies. I don't know how you feel about brownies, but feel free to leave that in the chat. The other thing that happened yesterday was at the end of making a cocktail here on Instagram Live, I went and I ended it, and Instagram they've definitely changed the user interface. And either I couldn't figure out how to do what I usually do, or they've changed it where they don't allow you to. So normally I just post the live to my story, so it's there. But that wasn't, at least that I could see, an option to do yesterday. So you might have noticed that yesterday's cocktail was not in my stories. What it does let you do, and I think this is why they're doing it, is they're trying to push you to IGTV, which is their like Instagram version of YouTube. So I was able to post it there, and then I think there's a way that I kind of figured out to post the link to the IGTV in my story, but now this is all these extra steps, so we'll see how that goes. I had to find it on YouTube. Yeah, so there you go on that. I think you can. I think I had it set up where I did like a picture on my story, and then if you swipe up, it'll take you to the video. So that's not too bad, but I didn't put in the little like, animated GIF that says swipe up, so you didn't know to do that maybe. So we'll see. Looks like Colleen is going to the beach next Friday, ready to go. Colleen is off. Next Friday is that true, Memorial Weekend? Are we already upon that? I think we are. So the beaches are getting open just in time. Dan is working, the kids have school. Kids are gonna kill you, Colleen. Rye, we can't see you. Is that true? Nobody can see me? I can see me. Dad can see me. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what's going on there. So, for our cocktail tonight, how many cocktails do you know that are... You see glasses? What kind of glasses? And liquor? I know, but do you see my face? That's so weird, Colleen. I don't know. Maybe, are you like super zoomed in or something? Can you see me down here? Okay. Anyway, how many cocktails do you know that are named after famous fencers? Well, today's cocktail, we have just that. This is a cocktail called the Lucien Gaudin. I don't actually know how to say it. It's a French name for this guy, Lucien Gaudin, who was a fencer in the 1920s. This is what he looked like. So he was a Frenchman, a French fencer, and he was apparently all the rage in the 1920s. And so while we here in the United States were enjoying Prohibition, and our cocktails were terrible because it was using all of this bootlegged liquors. In the other parts of the world, they were still, experiencing a positive cocktail cultures and creating all sorts of great stuff. And so this fencer was an Olympic medalist in 3 different Olympics that happened in the 1920s. The 1920 Olympics, 1924 Olympics, 1928 Olympics. And anyway, apparently he was all the rage and they created this cocktail and named it after him. And the actual sort of story about exactly when it was invented is unclear, but we can be confident it was in France. It was named after this Frenchman. It actually won a cocktail competition, the French Barman's Competition in 1929, and appeared that same year in a French cocktail book. And so that's what we know about this cocktail. What I'm excited about, and I'm pretty sure I've had it once before, that I've made it before, and the reason that I think this is because I was going through my bar area today and I found this little crumpled up piece of paper, and when I opened it up, it had 3 cocktail recipes on it, and this was the top one right there. But the reason I'm excited about this cocktail is that it has a lot of my favorite ingredients, and it is actually it can be considered a Negroni variation. And here's why. So it's going to have gin and Campari. So already we're thinking Negroni town, right? And if it were Negroni, you can all yell it out with me, it would also have sweet vermouth. Now, this cocktail swaps out the sweet vermouth and instead uses both dry vermouth and Cointreau. And so what we're going to get is, I feel like about the same amount of sweetness, the dry vermouth a little less sweet, but that's also the addition of this Cointreau, and then also just a more intense sort of dry orange flavor that I think will complement the Campari quite nicely. And so I'm excited to make this. The recipes I've seen are the original recipe seems to have been, and the early recipe seemed to be a 3-to-1 ratio of 3 gin to 1 part everything else. Some more modern recipes that I've seen bump that up to a 2-to-1 ratio, so basically less gin and more of the other ingredients in relation to each other. But I'm going to make it in the 3-to-1 ratio because I think that a little bit more gin will hold up to these ingredients just fine. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 1.5 ounces of a London Dry gin. Here I'm using Beefeater. And then if I use 1.5 ounces of this, I'm going to use 1/2 ounce of all of my other ingredients. So I'm going to just close that down there. Great. So now I have 1/2 ounce of Cointreau. And then 1/2 ounce of my favorite Campari. And then 1/2 ounce of dry vermouth. I'm using my homemade dry vermouth that I made last week. And there we go. Gonna add some ice to this and get it nice and cold, slightly diluted. So I am ready to go. And let's stir away. The cocktail moment of zen. That is very nice. Take my julep strainer, strain it right in there. And I've seen a few recipes specify a lemon garnish, but most of them, and the one that I'm going to use, is have a orange garnish. So I'm just going to grab a nice slice of orange here, which I think will complement the Cointreau and the Campari nicely. Give it a nice little, express the oils over it. Give it a nice rub around. Smack it to wake it up. And drop it in. And here we have the Lucien Gaudin. Cheers. It's a really good cocktail. It's really good. You get some of that sweetness and the orange from the Cointreau, and it holds up to the Campari, but you still get that Campari bitterness as a predominant flavor, which I love. A little bit of the herbalness from the dry vermouth, which is quite good. And then the gin is not super powerful. I can see why some people would push to up it to I don't know. Never mind. I think it goes the other way. I think going to 2-to-1, you get even less gin flavor, and I want a little bit of gin to come through. And I would say it's not too powerful here, where I need to back off on the gin and go to 2-to-1. So I feel like I like the 3-to-1 ratio of the 3 parts gin, 1 part Campari, Cointreau, and dry vermouth. And this is a very good cocktail. This is something, if you're looking for something boozy, and you like Campari, and you want, an alternative to a Negroni that's maybe interesting, I think this will really hit the mark. It's really good. All right. I'm going to fire up the grill tonight. I've got a skirt steak marinating in the fridge. And I think my plan is going to be we're going to make like a little rice bowls with them. So I'm going to grill up the skirt steak. I'm going to saute some peppers and onions up, and then make some rice and maybe some spinach on the side, and just throw it all in a bowl, and I think it'll be really good. So excited about that. So I'm going to get to that, as well as finishing up some of the work that I'm doing. But hope that you all have had a nice Thursday and ease into the Thursday night, and TGIF for tomorrow.
It's 5 o'clock.